Alright, so Forbidden Door and the Dynamite fallout. Now, the Dynamites leading up to Forbidden Door were very bad. I said as much. I said, you probably shouldn't buy the pay-per-view. And I said that I probably wasn't going to buy the pay-per-view. But then again, I might because I'm a stupid wrestling fan. So I wasn't going to buy the thing. But then I decided, well, let me just check out the free pre-show show and see what's going on there. So they had a few matches on there. Of course, right out the gate when I turn it on, we have the Lance Archer match, which is an ugly match. Lance Archer versus that other guy. I don't know his name. It wasn't a very good match. And at the very beginning of it, Lance Archer about breaks his neck again. So he already did a moonsault once, right, where he almost killed himself. Now he's just trying to jump into the ring head first and try to kill himself again. I don't know what the hell Lance Archer is doing. He needs to figure out that he's too big for this stuff. He's too big to be doing moonsaults. He's too big to be doing all this crazy stuff he tries to do. I mean, he's just jumping into the ring through the ropes, supposedly, according to the announcers, to try to do a cannonball. and he about breaks his neck again. So he needs to. He's a very athletic guy, but he needs to realize that he can't be doing this kind of stuff, especially if he's going to continue to do it and almost break his neck. So clearly he's not the best at it. Okay, this is 2 occasions now where he's almost killed himself or paralyzed himself. Archer, just cut it out, man. Just cut it out. You're the Murder Hawk. You're a big dude. You got a good look. You can be believed as a monster. Just be a monster. You don't got to do moonsaults. Kane didn't do moonsaults. The Undertaker didn't do moonsaults. You don't got to either, okay? Just calm it down, Lance Archer. So that was the first match. It just kind of tickled me to see Lance Archer almost kill himself again. Not that I want that to happen. I don't want him to get hurt or anything bad to happen to him. I like Lance Archer. But just seeing it, obviously he's okay right afterwards. So it just kind of made me laugh a little bit. Like, geez. Here's AEW. Here's another one for Botchamania. Here's another one for AEW Botches. But then we had an appearance by Danhausen, and we had the Gun Club and the Acclaimed have a match. And they reignited my love of wrestling and ended up buying this pay-per-view. Even though I already seen the only guys that are the best part of the show was the pre-show. Even though I already seen them, just the fact that they're so entertaining and they're so much fun to watch and listen to, that made me go, you know what? Screw it. I'm not doing anything else. I'm going to buy Forbidden Door. So I put the money down. I bought it on my phone. I didn't go and get it on the TV. I wasn't that interested in it. But the Acclaimed are so funny with their rap in the Gun Club. I mean, they're great together, right? And then, the Danhausen spot. And then you had Billy Gunn and Max Caster go on to win the match. It was a good match. It was very entertaining. They're great together. So because of them, I was like, you know what? I'll just buy it. I'll play it on my phone in the background of whatever else I'm doing and, see if it's anything decent or not. So the pay-per-view, kind of forgettable to be honest with you. Forbidden Door is pretty forgettable. They had some decent stuff in it. Nothing spectacular. I watched it, but then, I would do other stuff and not really pay attention. So nothing really stood out as being amazing to me in the pay-per-view. Nothing. I can't even tell you who that new champion is, the Atlantic champion. I think it's Malachi Black, but I kind of zoned out at the end when I thought he was getting ready to win, and I kind of missed it. I don't know. I think Malachi Black is the new All-Atlantic champion. I would have put it on Miro, but whatever. This is Tony Khan. What do you expect? So, nothing else in the pay-per-view all that great. The Moxley Tanahashi match was decent. There was no obvious signaling and botches all over the place like in the main event on Dynamite before this match. But, again, we all expected Moxley to win. I was kind of hoping they were going to give us a swerve. I was kind of hoping Tanahashi would win, and we wouldn't have Moxley as a 2-time champion. I was hoping they would do something with MJF. I was hoping MJF, they missed a big opportunity to have him win the Battle Royal and become the champion and stick it to Tony, storyline-wise. Just like Austin and McMahon, it would have been perfect. but they messed that up. So I was hoping maybe they'll do something out of this with this pay-per-view, because usually there's always surprises, and the surprise, was Cesaro. I thought it was going to be Gargano. It turned out to be Cesaro, and they had a really good match, and seeing Cesaro was great. Claudio, that was great. Then I was hoping that MJF would show up even maybe and screw Moxley out of the title somehow. He would show up just to cause a problem for Tony Khan in his Forbidden Door pay-per-view. To kind of like make AEW look bad would be a good way to phrase it. He tried to get New Japan to win, so he does something, some kind of interference where Tanahashi wins the match and becomes the new interim AEW World Champion. And so now you got a New Japan guy being the AEW champion. That would be a good way, I think, for them to have used MJF to further this storyline, if there is going to be a storyline. Whatever's going on with the shoot work angle they're doing, they should have had MJF show up, let Tanahashi be the champion. We've already seen Mox as a champion. He's not a good champion. He sucks. I'm sorry. He sucks. He's gotten better. He's had better matches over this past year than he did when he first got there, but come on. Moxley as a champion again? That's really boring. I'm sorry. It's really freaking boring. So that didn't happen. A missed opportunity, I think, because he could have Tanahashi stick around for tapings for a few weeks or something and have something else happen where somebody else becomes the champion or whatever until, Bryan gets uninjured or MJF is given an opportunity to become the champion. Something. They could have done something like that to make it different, to swerve everybody. Everybody knew Moxley was going to win, and of course Moxley did win. So Forbidden Door pay-per-view was kind of forgettable. Like I said, the pre-show, Max Caster, the Acclaimed, the Gun Club, they're the best thing going on right now. The Gun Club is a really great tag team. I think they are one of the best tag teams. They have the look of a tag team. They have the genes. They have the charisma. They have the moves. They got a good look to them. Them accompanied with the Acclaimed, it's great. These guys are your top people, I think. If any company going on right now, they're the top people. They're the people that, when I watch as a wrestling fan, I want to see them. I'm like, okay, this is going to be the best part of the show. They're going to be funny. It's going to be a good match. What else can you ask for? They're entertaining in their characters. Same thing with Danhausen. Danhausen is like the perfect, lovable, scrawny baby face, because he has an actual character, which all these other people are lacking these days. He has an actual character, which is entertaining and funny to watch. And you can see him going out there and getting his ass kicked, and then by some miracle or the help of his tag team friends being able to pull out a victory. He's kind of a little bit like Spike Dudley, but even less believable. But that kind of helps the character even more, that he's even less believable as someone who can actually win a match than Spike Dudley is. That's kind of what's good about him. I hoped Toni Storm was going to beat Rosa and become the new women's champion. It sure looked like they were going to kind of go with that because she was kicking out of stuff. But of course, no, Toni Storm loses, so we don't get to see Toni Storm as AEW World Women's Champion, which is what I was hoping they were going to do. We still have to deal with Thunder Rosa. But, what can I say? Forbidden Door, it was okay. But it was kind of forgettable. Nothing spectacular happened. From what I've heard in the numbers, the buy rates were down like at least 50,000 from what they got from the last AEW pay-per-view, which just shows, like I said, they're doing a really bad job selling this pay-per-view, showing you who these Japanese people are, and giving us a reason to watch. There was no reason to watch. AEW Dynamite was a pretty decent show. The follow-up show to this event was pretty good, I thought. A lot better than the last few weeks that I've seen. Again, the Acclaimed and the Gun Club, the Ass Boys, best part of the show. I don't like that they had Billy Gunn kind of stuck in between the two teams now, and they're teasing a breakup. I really hope they get their issues worked out, and it was just something to do at the end of the match, because I really don't want to see the Gun Club and the Acclaimed broken up. It also doesn't make sense for Billy Gunn to not stay with his kids, but go with the Acclaimed. They just started, and it's really funny and entertaining and getting over. They need to keep them together for a while. You don't just immediately break up one of the few good things you have going on your show because you don't know what else to do with them. Because you got to push the Young Bucks, the Acrobats, and you got to push FTR so much that you don't have nothing to do with these other tag teams. They should not be broken up. Keep them going, what they're doing. Start giving them wins on the shows every week and build them up, so then they can challenge for any of the 3 tag titles that the FDR has, or the AEW tag titles that the Young Bucks have. Build the Acclaimed and the Gun Club up. Let them go out there. Maybe each team wins 2 titles apiece off of FTR and the Young Bucks. But build it up. Let them get wins because they're great. Don't break them up. I really hope they don't break them up. But they were a good part of the show. Jade Cargill had a decent match. She's always good, entertaining. What else happened on Dynamite? There was anything worth talking about? Not much else happened that I can recall. They had the War Games match, the Blood and Guts. It's what you expected it to be. I was a little worried when they tore the mat and the canvas off of the ring and they had the boards exposed. I was really worried they were going to try to do some kind of spot where they threw someone through the top of the cage onto the wood or something. I was really worried they were going to do something like that, but they didn't, thankfully. Instead, Sammy just, he took the fall off the cage onto the table. I did notice the Santana injury spot, and it's so weird that it happened right when it happened, because I was just thinking about how out of shape he looked. Like, legitimately, seriously, I was watching the thing, and I've never been a Santana and Ortiz fan. They haven't wrestled very much. They just look like guys in street clothes to me. They don't do very much. They don't have the acrobatic thing that the younger, more athletic tag teams have. They don't have the size to be like a bruiser team, or they don't have the technical ability of FTR to be like a technical tag team. They're just, I don't know, they're blah. They haven't done much. They wear that weird white face paint on all the time. They just look weird to me. Look really weird. They're not impressive to me at all. Not in AEW. So when Santana got in, I noticed right away when he got in there and started doing stuff. To me, I was like, yeah, he looks out of shape. He looks really out of shape. Like he just looked out of shape to me. I don't know how to explain. He just looked out of shape. And then when he got grabbed from behind and he had to kick the other guy off with his leg, again, I'm like, man, he just looks out of shape. Like when I saw him kick the guy with his leg, I'm just like, he needs to do like some stretching or something. I was literally thinking like I bet this guy never stretches or does anything, to be flexible at all. And he just didn't look like he was in shape. And right after he threw that kick, he went for the Uranagi and he blew his knee out. And it looked strange when he pulled the move off, and I'm like, oh, he hurt himself. He hurt his knee. And then he rolled over to out past the ropes, in between the ropes and the cage, and he stayed there for the rest of the match. And he was there a long time. So if he tore an Achilles tendon, or if he tore his ACL or whatever he did to hurt himself, and tearing your ACL hurts. I've torn my ACL. I know how bad that hurts. So I don't know if that's what he did, or if he dislocated his knee, or if he was kind of clutching like the bottom back of his leg. That's what makes me think, is it the Achilles tendon? I feel like that's what connects back there, like the back of your calf up to your knee. I feel like that's the Achilles tendon. So maybe he ripped that or something. It had to be really painful. So hopefully he gets better soon. And it had to just lay there for like another 20-30 minutes of the match in pain. And from what everyone said, they waited till after the match, after the celebration, after everyone else was gone, then they went and helped him walk to the back. Like, dang, like couldn't they get him out beforehand? I understand. Maybe he told them not to. He didn't want to take away from the match of everybody looking at him to see what's going on. But man, you blow your knee out or you rip a tendon or something. I mean, there's no reason you should have to lay there in pain for 20 or 30 minutes before they get you out. I feel like they should have just took him and got him out of that cage, went in there, helped him out of the cage as best they could. But, maybe with the tight confines and the way he was rolled up against the cage, they didn't want to take away because they would have had to get a couple people in there probably to help him get out. I don't know. AEW does this stuff a lot. They don't never treat these guys getting hurt and injured very seriously, or they don't promptly address the issue. When someone gets knocked out, like a Matt Hardy or something, they want to call the match and then they restart it. A lot of injuries in AEW lately. What do you got? You have Adam Cole hurt. You have Daniel Bryan hurt. You have CM Punk hurt. Someone else just got hurt too, I think. Samoa Joe has been hurt. A lot of injuries in AEW. And maybe they should start asking why. Maybe it's because all the crazy spots they do, all the leg slapping kicks that they throw out there at each other that are probably connecting. I don't know what it is, but all these guys are getting hurt, and they're all getting hurt at the same time. So maybe that'll slow them down a little bit. I don't know. But I mean, even someone who's careful and knows what he's doing and slows down and doesn't do all the crazy spots, like a CM Punk is also injured. That could have been him jumping in the crowd that caused that, which is on him. But hopefully AEW gets their stuff together. Hopefully Santana gets better soon, and it's not too bad of an injury, but it looked like it was probably pretty bad, and he didn't get up to do anything else. So, and you know how these wrestlers are. You know, Triple H goes out there and finishes a match when he rips his quad. So, if these guys can do it, they will do it. So, it had to be a pretty significant injury for him to stay down for 20 or 30 minutes. So, hopefully he gets better. The Blood and Guts match was all right. I'm not interested in Jericho, the Jericho Appreciation Society. There's nothing interesting about that group. The Blackpool Combat Club, I mean, it's great to see Regal, but I don't get where it's going. Yuta looks out of place in that group. He doesn't seem to match. He looked good in his matches that he had against Bryan and Moxley and stuff, but seeing him out there in the Blood and Guts match, he just seemed out of place. He just seemed out of place. He didn't seem anywhere near as polished as he did when he was being led by a veteran like Bryan or someone. So, I don't know. We'll see where things go. I will say, Forbidden Door wasn't a catastrophe. It wasn't that bad. The Acclaim, the Gun Club, best thing going right now, I think. And the Dynamite was a decent show after the pay-per-view. Hopefully, Rampage will be decent tonight. I might have to take a look at Rampage and see how that is and see if they get a good show for everyone here leading into the 4th of July weekend. Let's hope for a good show. So, hey man, this diary is about an angry wrestling fan, but I'm not that mad right now. It hasn't been too bad this week. So let's hope things keep trending upwards for AEW and for WWE. Hopefully they do better stuff too.